A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Survival of No Limits once again. And this time, we're going to talk a little bit about something that has fortunately not happened to me at all, but you sometimes can never tell what could in fact happen. So let's get on with number 100. Yeah, 100 episodes of Survival of No Limits. I feel like I should celebrate somehow. But first, let's get on with the subject for today, which is going to be about exploding mobile devices. You're probably wondering what does this have to do with survival in general. That basic question seems to be coming back every so often, and well, I guess it never gets old, but you know what? Let's go ahead and answer that question. The reason why exploding mobile devices have anything to do with survival is simply because they are indeed as dangerous as you could possibly realize. Exploding mobile devices, including this Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge smartphone, which basically is pretty much an average size for a smartphone, but for something like this, it still is possible that this thing could in fact blow up on me. There's been a history of Samsung Galaxy S7 smartphones and S7 Edge smartphones like this one that have been known to explode because of battery defects that happen. The way I see it though, since I've owned this thing for quite a while actually, it's been well over 3 years since I first got this phone as a bit of a hand-me-down. But I will say for sure that in this particular instance, this phone's never blown itself up. Probably the worst it has is extreme battery drainage and high heat production. Mostly because of the fact that this thing is already getting a bit old, so it obviously is going to be quite hot to the touch, especially when under continuous usage. Or, of course, when directed to sunlight for the most part. But I will say for sure that exploding devices in general are not an uncommon thing. They've been getting more common each and every passing year, and it's pretty easy to understand why. Most of the times, there are millions or even billions of smart devices manufactured every year. And with all that happens, the kind of proportions of more devices exploding is more or less dependent on how many defects are taking place inside the original manufacturing depot. But it still is worth noting that most mobile devices are not at all guaranteed to blow themselves up. At least that's, of course, explained by the original manufacturer. And sometimes there could even be a recall that happens. And when that takes place, it's usually because of a defect that can happen within a smartphone or a tablet or a laptop or other kinds of mobile devices that you can keep a hold of you at all times. But as for smart devices that can in fact explode because of these certain defects, including battery misfunction or screen size dysfunction or other types of issues that are commonly addressed by most people, the whole thing about devices exploding is that you should never keep one on you. If you know it's going to blow up, then know that it probably will at some point in time. Keep it at a safe distance away from you. Most likely have it put outside where you can easily keep your distance away from it, and then once it catches on fire or some other thing would happen to it, then be sure to keep a steady supply of water on you. Because of the fact that it's not built to a direct electrical current, then the battery will most likely not harm you. Most of the time, and that's simply because whenever we drop our phones in the water, electrical discharge does not typically happen. And when that does, in fact, take place, well, the lithium battery does not necessarily generate kilowatts of electricity, unlike most household appliances that are especially metalloid, or maybe your home's outlets. Any of those that you touch, you will get shocked. But with most mobile devices that get dropped in the water with you in it or otherwise, that won't really be the case. So when you spray water on it, if it's on fire, you don't have to worry about an electrical fire releasing some sort of nasty shock onto you. So that's probably the biggest thing about it. But it is still worth noting, in all the cases that we've had, it is very much possible to get yourself hurt. If it does in fact explode on you, whether it's in your pocket or in your hand, then anything can pretty much happen. It's even been covered on in 1000 Ways to Die, where in that one in particular, the battery of course was defected. Classic. But in this particular instance, electrical discharge caused it to explode, and when that happened, shards from the screen and from other pieces started to shrivel up into the head, where it eventually started piercing through the skull and into the brain. So it blew up into the victim's head. And when that happened, well, that was the end of that. So, pretty much speaking, that's what most likely could happen to you if at one point you might have a device that could in fact explode on you without you knowing, and then boom, it blows up in your head, literally, right in you. So with that in mind, that's going to conclude this part of the whole entire section of the season itself. Well, you know what, I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but I might actually do a milestone challenge based off of this exact milestone. 100 episodes of Survival of No Limits is pretty spectacular if you ask me. But no matter what, I'm still going to do whatever I can to keep this series going. We're gonna keep on going through with this season until the very end. So with that in mind, if you want to see more go down on my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.